Okay, so if you're new to the channel, my name's Scullion. I'm a professional marathon runner for Under Armour, and the goal of this channel is first and foremost to document my journey trying to qualify for Paris Olympics, but it's also to try to help you guys at home learn from some of the stuff I'm doing in training to help your training. So today is all about gym, how gym can help you, how it could help you be a better athlete. I often think fitness is built on the trails, the road, the track. Medals are won in the gym. If you don't run and you just do gym, you won't be good at running. If you combine a good gym program with a good running program, you'll be consistent over a long enough period of time to get the best out of your running results. You'll notice that you'll be able to train at a higher intensity. You'll notice that training, as in the numbers, threshold pace, interval pace, how fast you are up hills, will get better because your power to weight ratio will be stronger. Less injuries, better power to weight ratio, better running economy, better race results. Fact. I'm going to go through a gym program right now. If you've seen some of my gym stuff before, you'll notice there's good patterns on purpose. But today I'm going to try to go through technique a little bit more. I'm not a gym coach, but I'll teach you what I've been taught to help me get to where I am now. Let's get into it. Okay, so like I said, this is the kind of gym program that I'll do 2 to 3 times per week if I'm being really good. I start with some calf walks. This is a little bit of an extended warm-up, so hopefully you've done some cardio, and then you can move into these little calf walks. The first set, we're just up nice and tall on the calves. This set is more of an active toe plant, where you're trying to actively plant the toe down, try to keep the body up nice and tall, pretend there's a string pulling you up towards the sky. You're keeping that chest tall, head tall, and like I said, now we're into those active toe plants where you're still trying to stay up nice and tall on the balls of the feet, but you're actively popping the toes down. This isn't an active toe plant, but it is quite difficult to stay in that nice and tall, upright position on the toes. That's where you'll notice weakness in the calf by including some of this stuff. So again, just a different angle. You can see I'm up nice and tall on the toes, keeping the hips up, keeping the chest up, and the head looking forward. You start to think about looking down, but try to pretend that you're in that running action, and so everything's up nice and tall. Now I've moved into what I call heel walks, and this is where the shin is pulled up towards your shins and you're walking on the heels. Again, try to keep that body up nice and tall. This is perfect for the shin muscles, the perineals. This is a hip sort of shrug. So this is if you get tight hips and problems around the side of the hips. One leg is staying up nice and tall, the other you're pulling up above the hip bone, but make sure you're focusing on using that hip muscle to drive it up. You're dropping the pelvis down, and then you're pulling the pelvis up. Very, very good if you get hip problems. You might start to notice an imbalance where one side of the muscle group's stronger than the other, and that might explain some of the injuries that you're getting. Now we're into a lunge circuit. And so you're doing a lunge, and then you can see with the medicine ball, you're reaching the medicine ball down close to the ground and back up. From the lunge, you're moving into a bit of a knee drive. It's quite difficult to do this on turf in barefoot because it's bringing in all your balance muscles, but I'm actually doing a pretty good job here. The more I do this lunge circuit, the more I notice when I'm out running, just control in the body. So foot hits the ground, your leg starts to drive forward, open up. When I'm doing the likes of these lunge circuits, I just notice the balance is better and the strength is better, and I feel powerful in my stride. Sorry, I totally didn't explain that, but we're lunging down, then you're starting to move the medicine ball about. So lunge down, medicine ball to one side. Make sure you look to the side that you're moving the medicine ball to. And again, knee drive, ball goes up above your head, lunge forward. This one's slightly different, I think. Yeah, this is difficult. So you lunge down, medicine ball goes to one side, have a look, knee drive up, medicine ball to the opposite side, and keep going. What makes it difficult is if you look to the side that the medicine ball went to, that's what makes it tough. That look, while trying to keep strong through the back leg, is pretty difficult. But be patient with that. Don't force it. Don't push it too hard. You'll be good. TheraBand stuff, you'll have seen this in some of my other videos or in the activation routine on joggingroom.com. TheraBand is just getting the glutes activated. I do it before sessions, which is one of the sessions on joggingroom.com, the activation routine. But this is different. This is doing enough TheraBand exercises that I cause fatigue, which will give strength. So I do it to one side, left to right. Then I do it diagonally, off to one side, but to a diagonal. And then I do it backwards, but again, diagonally and straight back. It's kind of around the world with the TheraBand. So if you've ever done around the world lunges, this is doing around the world with the TheraBand. As an activation routine, you might do one set, 6 reps to the side. As a strengthening building exercise, you can do 2 to 3 sets with more reps. This is called hip lock and knee drive. So you're looking at that right leg at the moment. It's nice and strong, and you're holding that band above your head nice and strong, and then you're engaging your core and driving that leg down towards the knee. Keep everything strong. The stronger you are in these exercises in the gym, the stronger you'll be in races, specifically towards the end of races. It's going to keep you strong and not fall apart, which will lead to being faster. Core engaged, pelvis tucked, nice and strong. Arm, try to lock it out. I'm being a bit soft here. But you're locking that back leg, strong through the core, whoop, knee drive. And your arm comes down. So now we've moved into this is like a glute bridge, but it's a longer lever, which brings the hamstring into it a little bit more. What I do is tuck the pelvis under, come up into the single leg glute bridge, and then I hold for about 4 or 5 seconds, enough that I feel it starting to work. Let it work for a bit, move on. Never pain, but you want it to work. With all these exercises, you're looking at, 2 to 3 sets. Manage load with how much gym you've done previously. And if you've never done gym before, be careful. If you have, then you can do 2 to 3 sets of, I was doing, I think, 5 or 6 holds at 5 seconds. This is an adductor hold. Be very careful with this. You're in a side plank. You're trying to keep the body straight. And then I'm doing it on my foot, like a side plank on the foot, working the obliques and the adductor. You might want to go on your knee, so have the box underneath your knee, or the box could be underneath your calf. The longer the lever, the harder the strain on the adductor. Don't mess with your adductors. They'll probably be quite weak, and you'll figure that out. This is just a close-up of the long lever. I think I threw it in there because I knew my muscles would look good. I'm joking, but they do. But this is just to show you a bit of the technique around the hip. You're trying not to let the hips collapse. That's really important. Try to keep the pelvis up tall. If your pelvis isn't staying up tall, you're trying to push too high up, or you don't have control, go down to the ground, reset that pelvis, get your pelvis tucked under so that you hypothetically can't reach when your pelvis is tucked under, you cannot, when you're on the ground, so you're laying on the ground, pelvis tucked under, you can't reach your hand underneath your lower back, then raise up. Only go as far as you can keep the pelvis in that locked position, and then do your single leg or maybe double leg at first holds. Sorry, we're back to the adductor stuff. Again, just changing the angle. YouTube loves little angle change, but it shows you there's quite a lot going on. There is a lot going on, but very good exercise. All right, this is great. This is quite new. If you get tight in the psoas or the hips or around here, This is like you're in the lunge position, get the pelvis tucked under, hold the dumbbell above your head, and then you're reaching, as you can see, down to the ground. But you want the movement to come from, basically from your hip up to the rib cage. And that's it. It's kind of it strengthens, but it also dynamically starts to get that area moving. I guarantee you, if you start playing with that area right now, you'll hate life. I guarantee if your partner gives you a pinch in there, you'll hate life. This is an area that gets really tight on most runners. Tightness comes from being too weak. This helps to stretch it a bit, but it also helps to strengthen it. So we're in the lunge, we're reaching over, which is awesome. Boom, down, touch, and then bang, lock the hip out, right? So lunge down, up we go, lock hip out. Don't worry too much about technique at first. Don't lift too heavy a weight that it would be dangerous if your technique isn't perfect. But practice, play with it. I'm literally lifting 6 kilograms here. Certainly not heavy stuff. I love this kind of exercise because this is definitely an area that I've had problems with, and that's what gym is all about. Targeting areas of your body that perhaps you've had issues with, get them strong, bye-bye issues. So this is another one of my regular, a guy called George Dennison sent me this stuff, and he's absolutely brilliant. He did a bit of an assessment to see what I could handle and then set a program specific to my strength testing and body movement. Very important. Lunge to hip thrust. If you're new to gym, you can start with just doing the lunge. You can also start with just doing a lunge with a dumbbell. Here we go, down into the lunge, get the pelvis in a good place, and then boom. I don't go super powerful with these. So I go into my lunge and I make sure there's from the bottom, so from the ground right now, down, and then whoop, that's where the power's coming from. So why I love this exercise is because, again, I get a lot of problems on the front right hip. Not enough to perhaps stop me running, but enough that I know my running technique won't be as good as it could be. So I like this because, again, we're incorporating strength with dynamic mobility and movement. So that extension phase right there, where your hips driving up, and then the reason the box is there is just to land softly on the box and give you something to reach for. Don't overreach, but the box is a good idea to just protect you from doing too much. Alright, so now we're moving on to some squats. The start of the program was more basics, fundamentals, keeping injuries away. Now we're into a squat. It's a quarter squat. I like a quarter squat because I feel like the running technique only goes to a quarter squat. Doesn't mean that full squats aren't important. I'm just probably not flexible enough in my lower back to mid back to do a full squat. So what you're seeing here is literally 60 kilograms. I'm not lifting heavy. I show you this angle because I want you to keep your knees pointing out. Don't let them cave in. If you're new to gym, you don't have to do weight. If you're new to gym, you don't have to do the reason the bar's bouncing up is because I'm locking my hips forward and glutes forward. But be careful with it, because that's where you can end up with a sore back potentially because you let the bar come down a bit heavy on your back. Don't do that, please. Different angle. I thought it would just show you the quarter squat and around the hips, and YouTube loves angles. So again, we're going down. We're trying to keep the hips out. You're trying to keep symmetry between left glute and right glute. I think when I watched it from the front angle, you might notice if you go back, I'm not going down as far on my right side. I've had a bit of an issue with the adductor on the right side. It's probably why. That you can thrust through. Please be careful with that. If you're doing the thrust and the bar's lifting up, support the bar on the way back down. I do 3 to 4 sets, nothing crazy, and that's gym. That's the gym plan finished. Then I move into some foam rolling. It's a bit of a warm down recovery routine. I foam roll, then I do some kind of yoga, but yoga for runners, hips, adductors, bit of downward dog, if that's a thing. My yoga is terrible. but I just sped it up a bit because I probably take 10 minutes doing this. And again, it's just blasting through, a little bit of foam rolling on the areas that have worked. I don't tend to do it when I get home because I'm doing bloody YouTube videos and editing. But this is good for the back, the little reaches, again for the back, little reaches. I get bad breathing in summer with hay fever, and so it's good to do this stuff, open the back up. This is all extra maintenance stuff that's going to keep the body healthy after gym. If you're lazy when you get home and you like to just relax and you don't have time or you have obligations, kids, family life, it makes sense. That's it. So the complex gym isn't that complex. It really helps. There's free activation routine on joggingroom.com. I was about to say free gym. There might be. I think there is in the resources section. But look at that masterclass. Check out some of the running programs. They might help you. Heaps of videos like this to show you what to do. And good luck with it all. I'm doing that again. That was an awful end. This video just stopped and I felt under pressure to stop. Look, that's it. Get into a consistent routine. Know your limits. Please don't get fucking injured doing something that's going to support your running. That means try a set of some of these exercises. Once you do one set, give it a day or two. How does everything feel? Are you still in a good place? Is everything really sore? Don't worry if it's sore at first. That's called DOMS. DOMS go away within like a week or two of doing it consistently. If you come and go, you'll keep getting the DOMS. You're going to hate gym. The natural thing to do when you have a bit of an injury is to skip gym. Actually, gym is the most important thing to do when you have a bit of an injury, to re-strengthen, get blood flowing through that part of the body to get it healing. Don't beat it down loads, but if you can still do some strength on it and you've seen a physio and they're okay with that, do it. There is lots of this on joggingroom.com. You can check it out. Serves me right for marketing. Oh, anyway, please be careful with this. It's going to help a ton, but just don't get hurt at first. Do a little bit of a warm-up, a little bit of cardio before you get stuck in, and then that little bit of a warm-up routine at the start with the calf walks, and enjoy it. Running, I'll say it every bloody episode, running is really hard. So be proud of yourself for how good you are right now, that you're trying to be better, and try, if you can, to enjoy little bits of it. Don't beat yourself up as much. Go tonight, please. This is a really difficult thing to do. Go look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself how proud you are of the effort that you're putting into running. I try to do it and then I almost break into tears because it's really difficult to talk to yourself in that way, but you have to be proud of what you're doing. So try that. And yeah, like, subscribe, do all those nice things. If you do want to check out joggingroom.com, you can. I do all this myself, film, edit. It helps support the channel. And yeah, that's all. Happy running.